Right. Had a shower, got me a cup of tea. All's right with the world. Okay, when should I start dating? Oh, when should you start dating, actually? That's a bigger picture question. And I think that most of us don't have the energy or the time or the capacity to think about larger, existential, bigger picture questions like this. And partly it's because of the demands on Western society. We're working longer. Financially and economically, it's becoming really hard to get by relative to 20, 30 years ago. We're so addicted to these things that I'm recording on right now. That's another topic for another day. But suffice to say, we're tired, right? So larger, really conscious questions like this are quite intense. And most people just don't, they either don't have the energy or the capacity, or you're scared to ask them. It's quite unsettling sometimes to think about these types of questions about your life. And a lot of people don't see the forest for the trees with things like dating, especially dating. When most people, particularly women, ask me when should they start dating or how do I meet someone or what kind of person should I go for, they think I'm going to talk about the external. So when they say when should I date, they think I'm going to tell them a period of their life when it's okay to date. When they ask how do I meet someone, they think I'm going to give them strategies on how to meet someone. Usually that's not what I say. That's not how I respond. On the surface, dating looks like you're focused on someone else and there's a dynamic exchange of energy between the two of you. Yes, that's correct. Yes, there's an aspect to that. But fundamentally, I'm a principles guy. I'm not really a tactics and like small details kind of person. I'm more of a fundamental, what's the fundamental drivers? What are the overarching principles that never change? As long as I know what the principles are and the fundamentals, it doesn't matter what the situation or the circumstance is showing me at a surface level. I have my roadmap. Those principles are my compass. So I can always come back to those to guide me through that situation. Doesn't matter what's happening because those principles never change. That's how I walk through the world, okay? In terms of when you should date, you need to forget about that question entirely until you start thriving. Instead of asking yourself, when should I start dating? Ask yourself, am I thriving? Now, it can be hard to figure out when you're thriving, but it's very easy for you to tell when someone else is thriving. You can see it. They don't even have to say it. Sometimes you can just see by their aura and their energy that they're projecting out through their body language and their non-verbals that something's working for that person. They might be glowing, their physical energy is very high, they're taking up space in the room, maybe they're speaking a bit louder, maybe they're being more active and involved in what's happening in the room. Maybe they're stretching what they can do. Like maybe it's in the workplace, they're getting involved in a whole bunch of projects. Maybe they have a really positive outlook on things. They never seem down. They never seem sluggish. You can tell when someone is thriving. When you're not thriving, which is usually the case in the beginning, in fact, let's go back. Why would you not be thriving? Mostly due to societal conditioning and parental pressure. Coercive pressure from the parents. Usually parents, unintentionally, most of the time, will push you down a certain path in life that tends to be inauthentic to you. Usually. It's very rare that a child grows up with the exact same personal values, dreams, and ambitions as the parent. That's really rare. Usually, we are all unique individuals. We might have some fundamental personal value similarities, but you're still a unique person, a unique soul. So it's more likely that as you grow up and you start leaving your teens and becoming a young adult, 20s, mid-20s, 30s, you will have different visions and dreams and for your future and for the life you want to live compared to your parents. So when you try to fit yourself into someone else's box, you're unlikely to thrive in the way that I described earlier with the person that, slightly louder, taking more space in the room, they're glowing, they have a lot of physical energy, they're always smiling, they have a positive outlook on life. Even in the face of challenge, you just can't phase them, keep moving forward. Um, anyway, when you're not thriving, there are two dangers when you start dating. The first one is that when you're not thriving, that's painful. You're in pain. There's a primal instinct when you feel pain to get out of pain as quickly as possible. If you have a headache and there's some painkillers on the table, really difficult for you to resist the temptation to take those pills. Because pain is it can be a very acute experience, and it just dominates all your senses. You can't think about anything else when you're in real pain. There's different types of pain. But when you're not thriving in life, that's a spiritual type of pain. It's an existential type of pain. And when you're feeling that kind of pain, you want some relief. When someone starts showing you sexual interest, it's new, so it's exciting. It brings variety to your day. It validates insecurities that you probably have, which is very closely related to why you're not thriving. They tend to be. And it's a pressure release valve. So it's a distraction. It's a welcome distraction from the pain that you're feeling about the fact that your life, your current lived experience, is something that you don't like. Now, when there's a fundamental problem or an issue with how you're living, usually we tend to numb ourselves and distract ourselves from it because it's painful, right? Social media, smartphone use, video games, sports, drinking, other substance abuse, whatever. Most truths in life, in terms of problem solving, are counterintuitive, meaning that what you instinctually want to respond with usually does not solve the problem, it usually makes it worse. And saying that the other way around, usually the solution to the problem is the opposite of what you instinctually want to do. So when you're feeling this kind of pain, like something's not right with my life, I don't feel fulfilled. I'm bored, I'm stressed, I'm spending most of my time doing things I don't want to do. I'm in places I don't want to be in. That is the time when you need to put even more focus and even more intensity of awareness onto what's going wrong, because you need that extra focus and intensity of awareness to be able to fully identify and accept the truth of what's going on, so you can now make a clear decision to change. When you meet someone who starts giving you sexual interest, it distracts you from doing that. Not all pressure is bad. Not all stress is bad. Not all pain is bad. That pain's there for a reason. It's a messenger, and it's a very good one. Arguably the best. Pain is arguably the best feedback loop signal for our spiritual development, arguably. Obviously not in abusive circumstances, just for the sake of it. But pain is a very, very good communicator. And if something you're doing distracts you from that pain and gives you a pressure release, sometimes that pressure is the very catalyst that was needed to give you, Alex Hormozi calls this the activation energy. Maybe that pain you're feeling needed to get to a certain level of activation to get you off your ass and make a change. And when you meet someone and they distract you from that and it releases the pressure, you come back down and you never hit that point where it gives you enough of a shock to move. So it seduces you into comfort and you stay where you are. That's the first danger of meeting someone, is that it distracts you from the necessary focus and internal awareness to actually make a conscious change in your life. The second danger, so that was internal, now it's external. The second danger is that when you're not thriving vibrationally, I'm going to oversimplify this now just so you can understand the concept. Think of a scale of vibration. So you have high and you have low, okay? High vibration is you're really healthy, you're making really good progress with career and maybe finances, you're enjoying life, your day-to-day experience, your physical and emotional energy is high, you have a zest for life. Low vibration is you're stressed, you're tired, you're probably out of shape, you're eating like shit, you hate your job or where you spend most of your time, you're not enjoying it. You just don't feel like you're supposed to be here. When you're not thriving, anyone looks good to you. Because like I said, it's a pressure release valve. It's a relief from the pain. It's pain relief. So to simplify it, let's say you want someone who's here at a vibrational level, but you're down here right now because you're not thriving for various reasons. Let's say now that you meet someone who's down here. Well, relatively speaking, that person is still vibrating higher than you are because, well, no, let me not say, it's not that the person's vibrating higher than you, it's that your experience, your romantic experience with them, the romantic exchanges with them feels like it's better because you're already low. So relatively speaking, anyone looks good to you because it's such an effective distraction and pain relief from your suffering. So it blinds you to all the signals of incompatibility. We're so unique. Like we have so many quirks. There's only one of you. So it's very unlikely that the first few people that you meet in your dating life are going to be perfectly compatible with you, especially if you're younger, because you go through so much change as you grow up. So if you're not able to spot signs of incompatibility, you're more than likely going to settle with someone that they're not going to, what's the word here? You're not going to realize your full potential spiritually on this planet with someone who's incompatible to you, because it's like a counterweight that's pulling you back. It's dead weight. And I don't mean the person is dead weight. I mean relative to who you are and you two as a couple, you two as an item, trying to create and build a life together in a nuclear family structure, that person is dead weight, or the relationship with that person is dead weight. And you won't be able to see it until many years later usually. And then by then you're already entrenched, maybe you have a mortgage with them, you've got assets with them, you have kids with them. Very difficult to get out now. So all this to say, when you're thinking about, if you're single and you're worried about, it's taking too long for you to find someone, forget about that for a second. Ask yourself, are you thriving right now on your own? Do you enjoy your day-to-day life? Is a day in your life fun to you? Do you come home feeling recharged and rejuvenated and genuinely satisfied with how your day went? Like deeply satisfied? If not, it's probably not the right time for you today. I don't recommend it. Because, now I'm not saying that you can't make conscious changes to then build a thriving life with someone. Of course you can. It's way harder though. That's way more difficult because as rewarding and as intimately fulfilling as romance can be, it comes with its own set of challenges, stresses, obligations, and shadows. Like everything has its light and dark. And the shadows that come with romantic ties can be really can make things really difficult for you in terms of moving forward and making these really big shifts and changes to your lifestyle that are needed for you to start thriving. So make sure that you're thriving first. Thriving. Make sure that you are truly thriving first before you give any thought to whether you should start dating. And the funny thing is, you will be shocked and amazed once you start thriving how easy it becomes to meet people passively. You don't have to hunt them down. You don't have to force yourself to go to bars. You don't have to force yourself to go and make a Hinge profile. It happens passively because you start living your life. Just to end this off, because I've been talking for a while. When women ask me over the years, how do I meet someone? I told you at the start of the video they expect me to start giving them strategies on how to meet someone. Like, oh, go here, make this profile online. Like, these are the things to do. I've never responded that way. Most of the time when someone asks me how do I meet someone, my response is go and live your life. Go and live, like Ramit Sethi says, a rich life. That doesn't mean financially. It means spiritually. Go and live a rich life. Go and enjoy your day. Do you have any hobbies? If not, go and get some. Don't like your job? Change it. Don't have any friends? Go out and join, go and pursue hobbies that truly make you feel fulfilled with like-minded people, and you will find it way easier to make friends. Go and get in shape. Go and do things. Like, get out of the house. Go out of the house. Go out into the world. And go and live your life. And you will be shocked and amazed how easy it seems to feel that better quality people as well start falling into your orbit. People that you never would have looked at before. So in terms of we're talking about the vibrational frequency, what do you want to call it, chart or whatever before. Maybe you were here before when you're not thriving, and you meet someone here. You'll be surprised once you start raising your frequency, your vibration, how you start meeting people who are also vibrating higher. Because you start showing up differently. Maybe you were slightly miserable, maybe you were a bit standoffish, the color in your face is gone, you're kind of shrunk and closed off, you don't engage with the room anymore, maybe you don't have a sense of humor, you don't find humor in things. That doesn't attract people. But when you start thriving, the color in your face comes back, you kind of light up the room, you're very engaged with the room. Again, positive mindset. You tend to be more social when you're thriving. You tend to see humor in things a lot more as well. When you're around those kind of people attract people. So when you start thriving, not only does it become easier for you to meet people passively, but you actually start meeting better quality people, higher vibrational people, simply because you are now vibrating at a higher level. So make sure you're thriving first before you give any thought to whether you should start dating. Peace.